Hey y'all, it's me. I decided to wake up today and hold on, let me let this truck go by. I like to exercise and walk around, do little things. And also it gives me a reason to kind of like get out in the city that I'm in. I'm in Milwaukee right now. And I'm at a place called Humboldt Park, and I'm touching the pole. So for anybody that want to say, oh, it's stock footage, no, it's not. I'm actually here. I actually be out on these streets, y'all. And what I notice walking around this place, it's an older neighborhood, a very mature, established neighborhood. And I want to talk a bit because I've made some statements that some people might find controversial about how I know that a lot of dusty black male, now I make a difference between those that want to do and those who are dusty. The dusty black males don't want a community. And it's a lot of them within Blackistan. That's why Blackistan looks the way that it looks. These houses, these buildings over here are older, but they're in good condition. You can tell that through the years that people have occupied. Sorry, I'm back. My video went off for a second. Let me let this bus pass. So you can tell that through the years that people have occupied this place, that they've done what they can to maintain it, to keep it up. It's older. Personally, if I had to move here and buy a house, it would take a lot for me to want to buy a house in this place because I like newer things. I like technology. But that doesn't take away from the fact that this is a nice, well-established neighborhood. I'm at Humboldt Park walking around. And since I've been walking around, I've seen people out here jogging, other people walking around. So these are the kind of things that let me know that I'm in a safe area. I saw one elderly lady pushing her grandbaby in a stroller. Okay. If Decoin and Tyrone wanted this, they could have had it a million times over. The reality is they don't want it. They've never wanted it. And nothing can make them want to desire it. What they want is to be able to exploit people around them so that they can have an easy life. That's what they're looking forward to. It's a swimming pool up there and people in their swimsuits. So I don't want them to think that I'm trying to record them, But anyway, they don't want this, what you see over here. They don't want, see, this is what generational wealth looks like too. These houses look like they were built maybe in some of them in the 1920s very easily because of the style. Some in the 1940s and 50s, definitely. So the people who, sorry, my camera went off again. So the people who originally occupied these places, who had them built from the ground up, they're probably long gone, or if they're still here, they're close to being on their way out. So they're passing this down from one generation to another. I can tell you right here, this is like a 4-unit apartment building. I can tell by the way it's designed. Or it may be, because you see, it goes real long in the back. Yeah, you see the side of this building. So, maybe 2 generations have owned these private apartment buildings, and it's been given a passive income to families for at least a couple, if not a few generations. This is how it appears. If Decoin wanted it, would have had it a million times over. If Tyrone wanted it, would have had it many times over. The reality is they don't want it, and they're not going to want it. There's not enough intervention to get them to desire it. They don't want it. What they want to do is be able to live a hedonistic lifestyle where they get to do whatever they want, whenever they feel like it, at everybody else's expense. Because I know I use the term, Tyrone Decoin a lot, but before I started using Tyrone, the red pill community used the term Tyrone, or used the name Tyrone to describe an individual, typically a black man, who has a bunch of baby mamas. Okay, so with that being said, let me get in the shade for a second. I'm going based off of what the Tyrones allowed. Okay. And Dequan, well, why do I use the term Dequan? Frankly, and it may shock you, it's kind of a way to point out what happens when grown men have sex with teen girls and turn them into parents before they're even adults. What do you expect to happen when you make it okay for a man to impregnate a girl and she has that baby? Maybe that was the first time she ever had S to the E to the X, and in doing so she got pregnant. Now she got to deliver a baby by a man that she probably wouldn't have picked if she was older, or a man that violated her. See, people can walk around with their kids. That's how I know it's a safe neighborhood over here. So going back to what I was saying, so what happens when you tell this little girl who was forced to have sex against her will, who was forced to give birth to a baby against her will, okay, who had to hold on to a teddy bear while she was pushing the baby out of her womb, and then you tell her, what you gonna name him? What do you think she's gonna come up with? She's gonna come up with Daquan. So until people stop making it okay for grown men to lay down with little girls and create children that turn out to be hellions for the rest of us to deal with, I'm going to continue to use Daquan. So if Tyrone and Daquan wanted something as simple as this isn't an extravagant neighborhood. This isn't a neighborhood filled with, mansions and big, wide manicured lawns. It's just a regular, looks like middle-class neighborhood, how it started out as, and the people just kept it up. And they have a nice park. They have nice amenities. It's clean, decent. See, people can walk around safely. If Daquan and Tyrone wanted this, they would have been done had it. And for those who didn't catch my ebonics, what I mean when I say they would have been done had it, what I mean by that is they would have had it so long ago, it would have been in history by now. They would have had it before these people had it. That's what I mean by they would have been done had it. And from the looks of things, this is a mixed neighborhood, from the people that I saw walking around, but predominantly white. But it is mixed with other, ethnic groups. So I'm going to continue my walk so I can get my steps in, get my exercise in. Hey, y'all, I'm just taking a pause to stretch a little bit. I'm still walking around in Milwaukee, and you see other people walking. Over here is a school called Parkside School for the Arts. Something like that. Let me see if I can get a better. It says Milwaukee Parkside School for the Arts. Now, earlier in the video that I'm going to piece together with this footage too, I showed what it looks like in average upper middle class America, like sort of upper middle class at this point, but it didn't start out as upper middle class. And I could tell by the way the homes are constructed. I could tell by the way or how old the structures are, that the people that initiated this community maybe 2 to 3 generations ago were working class Americans. Okay, and these properties were probably their forever homes, and their thought process was one of which that they were going to pass down the property as an inheritance to their children. Now, of course, if you have multiple children, it's difficult to pass down one house to multiple children. So generally what happens is that the children either agree to sell the house and split the proceeds as a down payment into their homes, or they may rent out the house, a lot of things, But what I'm getting at, and why I am recording this portion of a video, is to show how right now I think I may be the only black woman walking around. It is currently 11 a.m. on a Tuesday. Okay. I am the only black woman walking around this park. I see people of other groups walking around, but I'm the only one who's a black woman. And I'm saying that for a reason. And I'm probably one of the few that operates a business where I have to be present in operating it. It's not to say that other people walking around are not business owners. And I will eventually get to a point where I'm a business owner where I can do my business more passively. But here's the thing. For those who make it seem as though women nowadays are asking for far too much, that our standards are too high, you got to think. A lot of people that are saying that don't know too much about business and don't know too much about budgeting, don't know too much about looking at the big picture of even microeconomics, let alone macroeconomics. By microeconomics, I mean like stuff that a household budget is like microeconomics, whereas a national budget would be more like macroeconomics, just to give an example. So even if a person inherited this home like that's in front of me, right, they're still going to have to maintain it. There's money involved with that. They're still going to have to pay bills on it. They're still going to have to pay taxes on it. And those taxes are used to open up institutions like this, where you can have a school for those children in your community who are gifted in the arts, an institution where they can concentrate their gift and become even greater as a result. You can have stuff like this, a park with rolling hills where people can safely walk around with their children, little playgrounds for them to play at, and then on top of it all, to be able to maintain it too. Once you put a park here, that's not where it ends. You see, right here, let me show you something. You see, this grass had to be mowed, right? See, that's what tax dollars do in a community. Pay the person and also pay for the equipment, pay for the gas to just carry out that simple task. Somebody got to take out the trash. Somebody got to keep the place clean. So I'm saying all this to say that the women are not wrong in raising their standards in a hostile environment where they're being voted against. We are being voted against. Our autonomy is being challenged at every step of the means, or every step of the way. I'm sorry, a person just passed me by. But you can see, this guy can ride a bike. He looks a little overweight. I'm not trying to make fun of him, but he has the ability to come out here and work on that, But going back to what I was saying, we're in a hostile environment as women. Our autonomy is constantly under attack. Not only that, the biggest thing that can set us backwards is having an unplanned pregnancy or having expenses of a loved one pile up on us and being thrusted into a caregiver role. You can either be thrusted into a caregiver role via unplanned pregnancy, or thrusted into a caregiving role because somebody had an accident and now they're no longer able to care for themselves, or maybe you're taking on a senior parent or something like that. That's one of the biggest things that put women in particular into a situation where, our earning potential goes down or becomes non-existent. Our lifestyle changes. It gets turned upside down. So I don't blame the women for saying, hey, if I got to do at least $200,000 worth of uncompensated labor on average in the U.S., bear in mind some women do more, especially if they're more educated, they do more. If I have to do more than $200,000 on average of uncompensated labor, partner, you gotta, if we're gonna get together and do this having a family thing and creating a legacy, then you're gonna have to be able to match my efforts in terms of resources and funds. I don't blame the women. I don't blame us at all collectively for taking that stance. Or if that's not gonna happen, fine, just not participate. Just not participate. Because we don't want to be, because see, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is the missing link. I'm the only black woman here, right? But I'm not the only woman walking around here. I'm seeing older women walking around. I'm seeing women, new moms walking around. I'm also seeing a lot of women that are not skinny. But you know what? They can work on it because they have the resources to do that here. You understand? They have the resources and the facilities to work on that. Before I started recording, I saw two women that appear to be friends. They could be sisters, I don't know. That all of a sudden they started running downhill and then they walked back and they did it, 2 or 3 more times. So this idea that black women are overweight and we don't care about our bodies. Yes, we do. Black women care about our bodies just like any other woman. You understand? But the difference is, and I'm not saying black women are exclusive in this, being working moms, overworked mothers, and overworked women in general. There are other groups that fall into that category, but we seem to be the poster child of it, okay? See, what's going on is that while we're at work at 11 in the morning, what's happening is that while we're at work at 11 o'clock in the morning, trying to make it till noon and counting down until it's time for us to leave. Okay, look at what other groups of people are able to do. They're able to be out here walking their dogs at 11 o'clock in the morning, going on noon, okay? They're able to walk with their babies in a stroller. I saw a couple of couples out here walking together, just, taking in the time to exercise and just spend time in nature, go about their day, get their steps in, and stay healthy. I'm sure that if you were to look at this city of Milwaukee and in this area, Humboldt Park, and see, for instance, how healthy the people who live in this area are in compared to people who live in places like the south side of Chicago. These people are going to come up healthier, and this is why. So that's all I have to say for now. I may record again, but let me finish my walk.